News coming in from Kheda in Gujarat, where a number of men were tied to a pole and beaten up by police at a crossing. The people who were beaten by the police were allegedly trying to create ruckus at a Garba event. Those arrested were brought to a public square and caned one after the other by people in the area. Local people gathered cheering the police when this caning was actually taking place. Slogans were also raised over here. Absolute vigilantism over here. Joining us now, my colleague Priyanshi. Priyanshi, what details do you have on what this is all about? Because we've actually seen several events like this in the last couple of weeks, a couple of days in various states, particularly in Garba events. Do we have any detail? Well, joining us now, Aashutoshsrivastava, senior Supreme Court lawyer. Thanks very much, Mr. Srivastava, for being with us. You know, how do you react to these images coming in? We try to get more detail about what this is, and we'll find out as we get the line with my colleague Priyanshi back up. Yeah. But it's this medieval sort of justice at a time when during Garba events, we've seen in other parts of the country as well people being targeted. What are your initial thoughts on this?
I would say, obviously, when somebody has created any sort of ruckus or any sort of disobedience or have tried to disrupt the function or the celebration of Garba, obviously there are certain rules and regulations under which even FIR can be registered and actions can be taken by the police authorities. But I think, caning some people and, in front of all the people who are watching, who are celebrating, I think this is something I would say should have been done within the ambit of the laws which are prescribed under the Constitution and under the Criminal Procedure Code. So, according to me, I think the best way would have been to register the FIR against the offenders, and they should have been taken into custody as per the law, and the law should have been imposed on them, and they should have been produced before the concerned magistrate for the offences they have been alleged to have committed. And I think a proper rules and regulations should have been followed. Police have certain rights, and they, even if they are working in the interest of the people at large, but then they should also see that the rules, regulations and their powers are, utilized as per the provisions which are prescribed, and accordingly they should discharge their duties. Right. So I think it is something where I would say the criminal procedure rules have not been followed properly, and the same should have been followed. There is no question that the offenders should not be punished. Yes, they should be punished. They should be brought to the laws.
In fact, I just been also joined by the senior Supreme Court lawyer Kapil Madan as well. You know, we've got a few more details on this particular case, Kapil. This is what the Superintendent of Police, Rajesh Gadia, actually has to say about this incident. A group of people led by two men identified as Arif and Zahir entered the Navratri Garba venue and started causing trouble. They even threw stones. Now, the thing is that we've seen incidents like this in the last couple of days where members of the minority community have been targeting for entering Garba. In some cases, people have been told, if you are Muslim, you are not welcome, you cannot enter. So as we wait for more details on this particular case, and everybody condemns the violence, is this not possibly part of that trend where members of the minority are being targeted on the basis of their faith?
Well, I agree with you, Som. I think if you see historically in the recent past, I mean, this has now become a trend that on every Hindu festival you will have someone, who will try to create a divide, who will try to, target a particular community. And in fact, I was there on, your show on a previous debate wherein, in fact, the Garba organizers themselves, they mentioned that, people from Bajrang Dal, they, came at the event and they started creating this kind of a, ruckus insofar as, the other people from the other communities concerned. I mean, this is, and so the biggest issue which we should ideally discuss is that what we see is only a symptom. I mean, if you go into an inquiry and see where is the problem to my understanding is that the incumbent government's tacit approval to a trend like this. I mean, why can't, the senior functionary of the government make a statement, condemning these kind of issues? I mean, you will hardly, hear any kind of condemnation coming from the higher up from the government. And in fact, I was also hearing, Mr. Srivastava, he's also a learned counsel. I mean, he tried everything to, somehow justify. I mean, his view was premised that, in fact, the person who have been victimized, the person who are beaten, I mean, his view was on a premise that they were the offender. I mean, they created something that led to this, victimization. Now, what Mr. Srivastava, forgot is that there is no evidence to suggest that they created some kind of, nuisance or some sort of disruption insofar as the event is concerned. All we see, all the news that we keep hearing day in and day out is that, Muslims are not allowed. Muslims should, submit to Ma Durga if they want to attend these festivities. So I would just say here that this is not the time to create a divide. I mean, any festival is an occasion to exchange your cultures, to exchange festivities, to exchange greetings. Now, this is not an occasion to create a divide. This is not
Kapil, half a second. Ashutosh wants to reply. Go ahead, Ashutosh.
Yes. Yeah, first of all, I don't agree with my learned friend. I don't know from where he brought the word Muslim or Hindu. First of all, he should understand that I talked about the offenders. Whoever, irrespective of the religion or anything or the caste of a person who has been alleged to have committed a crime, this is an allegation. He has to understand as a counsel that what is allegation, what does it mean? Obviously, the law will follow its course. That has to be proved. A person who is accused of committing any offense is not always he has committed. That will depend whether he is convicted at the later stage or not. So presently, what he is talking about the division of the society. When he brought the religion into this thing, that means he is himself, he believes in the division of the society on the basis of the religion. See what I talked about the offenders. If any offender, let it be of any religion, any caste, that doesn't matter. If he or she creates any such kind of new
if he or she then actually
religious celebration,
Kapil disagrees with that point that you are mentioning. Go ahead, yes, Kapil.
So I will just respond to Mr. Srivastava here. Now, what Mr. Srivastava was trying to say earlier was that if someone has created some kind of a ruckus, you should hand it over to the police and they will give punishment.
Mean a particular religion.
Now, allow me, Mr. Srivastava, please be patient. I never interrupted. Please, allow me to make my point, and then you can, rebut.
Go ahead.
Always have that opportunity. Yes. Now, all I'm trying to say here, Mr. Srivastava has said that, it is for the law to take its own course. Well, that is all right. But Mr. Srivastava is now trying to project that the person who has been thrashed in these videos, they might have done something, and that was the consequence of what they have done. All I am trying to say here is that you have a kind of people, who are, using the festivities as an instrument, as an occasion, as a platform to again strike vengeance against a particular community. And the video is a glaring example of what is happening in the society.
No,
that's what I'm trying to say.
All right. All right. Look, I know, Ashutosh, you disagree with this.
Yes, right. He is completely misleading the entire show into a different direction altogether. See, what I said, that the action taken by the police is not justified as far as the criminal procedure code is concerned. But at the same time, as I said, the FIR could have been registered and the investigation could have been taken against the alleged offenders. And the law should have taken its course. That point is 100% agreeable. That is not debatable.
All right.
That is
all right. Okay. So the law should have taken its own course, but there is a larger issue on who exactly is being attacked and why. That's being asked as well. We'll leave it over there. I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.